Psychological experiments are a cornerstone of scientific inquiry in psychology. They provide a rigorous and systematic approach to studying human behavior, contributing to the development of theories, evidence-based practices, and deeper understanding of the complexities of the human mind and behavior. In this video, I will briefly 10 classic and influential psychological experiments that impact most of our life. And in the following videos, I will discuss each experiment in details. The first experiment showing here is Milgram obedience experiment, which was conducted by Stanley Milgram in the early 1960s. For unveiling the power of authority, it explored the shocking reality of obedience by investigating the willingness of participants to obey authority figures, even when asked to perform actions conflicting with their personal conscience. The second experiment is Stanford prison experiment, conducted by Philip Zimbardo in 1971, aimed to investigate the psychological effects of perceived power and authority in a simulated prison environment. This study delved into the dark depths of human behavior, revealing the impact on both guards and prisoners. The third experiment, Little Albert experiment, conducted by John Watson and Rosalie Rayner, demonstrated classical conditioning by making a baby associated a white rat with a loud, frightening noise, illustrated the principles of classical conditioning and the potential for creating conditioned emotional responses in human. The fourth, Harlow's monkey experiments, were a series of controversial experiments on rhesus monkeys in the 1950s and 1960 seconds. Conducted by Harry Harlow, it investigated the effects of maternal separation and the importance of contact comfort in social and emotional development. This study played a role in shaping ethical guidelines for the treatment of animals in psychological research. The fifth, Asch conformity experiment, was conducted by Solomon Asch in the 1950s. It investigated the extent to which individuals would conform to a group's opinion, even when that opinion was clearly incorrect. The study has been influential in understanding group dynamics, social influence, and the mechanisms of conformity in human behavior. It's a good example of peer pressure. The sixth, the learned helpless experiment, conducted Martin Seligman in 1965, researched a different angle related to Dr. Watson's study of classical conditioning. In studying conditioning with dogs, Seligman made an astute observation. The conditioned dog's behavior became known as learned helplessness. The idea that some subjects won't try to get out of a negative situation because past experiences have forced them to believe they are helpless. The study's findings shed light on depression and its symptoms in humans. The seventh, Robbers Cave experiment, was conducted by Muzafer Sharif in 1950s. It studied intergroup conflict and cooperation by observing the behavior of boys at a summer camp. It is often cited as an example of how group conflicts can be mitigated through cooperation towards common goals, and highlighted the importance of shared objectives and fostering positive intergroup relations. The eighth, Bobo doll experiment, conducted by Albert Bandura in 1961, demonstrated observational learning and aggression by showing that children learn aggressive behavior by observing adults' mirror of aggression. It highlighted the importance of modeling, reinforcement, and punishment in shaping behavior, and it had implications for discussions on media influence, aggression, and child development. The ninth is Pavlov's classical conditioning experiments. Conducted in late 1890s to early 1900s, Ivan Pavlov researched on classical conditioning, particularly the experiments involving dogs, laid the foundation for understanding how associations between stimuli can shape behavior. This research laid the foundation for the study of behaviorism and influenced subsequent developments in psychology. The 10th is the Hawthorne Effect. Although it was not a specific experiment, it was a worthy exploring. The Hawthorne Effect refers to the alteration of behavior when individuals know they are being observed. It underscores the significance of social and psychological factors in influencing human behavior and performance. However, it's important to note that the Hawthorne effect is not without controversy, and some researchers have questioned the extent and generalizability of its effects. In the following videos, I will explore more details of each experiment and further study their effects on human behavior and mind.